Shattering GMA explosion, Denzel Washington storms. Offset unveils Michael Strahan's hidden scandals in a mind-blowing clash. Hold on tight, because last night's Good Morning America wasn't just a TV moment. It was a heart-pounding, earth-shaking catastrophe that left everyone stunned and social media on fire. Denzel Washington, the two-time Oscar-winning legend, didn't just walk off the GMA set. He dropped a truth bomb so massive it obliterated Michael Strahan's polished image, exposed a tangled web of financial secrets, and turned a routine morning show into a battlefield of betrayal and honesty. What began as a simple interview to promote Denzel's new film spiraled into a chaotic unraveling of dark truths, gambling debts, charity fraud, and a desperate scheme to ambush a Hollywood icon for ratings. By the time Denzel walked away, Strahan's career was in ruins, and the world was left reeling from the most unforgettable moment in morning TV history. Here's the full, gripping story, packed with every shocking detail, told like I'm sitting across from you, spilling the tea, raw, real, and impossible to turn away from. The morning sun barely crept over Times Square when the Good Morning America studio hummed with a strange, uneasy vibe. Something felt wrong, and everyone sensed it. The crew whispered nervously in the shadows, producers exchanged tense glances, and the air crackled with an odd energy. Nobody could pinpoint Denzel Washington. Hollywood's king was set to appear for a stand-up promotional interview about his new drama, a film about redemption, second chances, and the power of truth. It was supposed to be easy, a charming legend of friendly chat, and a plug for a movie already generating Oscar buzz. But what unfolded was a masterclass in confrontation, a takedown so brutal it left the audience gasping and the internet ablaze. As the crew prepped to set, Michael Strahan was acting off in the pre-show meeting. He paced like a restless lion, his usual bright smile replaced by a cold glint in his eyes. Time to see if he's really that perfect, he muttered over and over, his voice low and sharp. Producers swapped worried looks. Was this about Denzel? The man was untouchable, a national treasure, the kind of star who earned respect just by walking into a room. Robert Strahan's co-host and the soul of GMA, tried to ease attention. Michael, let's keep it light today, she said, her voice calm and warm. But Strahan brushed her off, his jaw tight. No, Robin, I'm done with fluff. It's time for real talk. The room went quiet. Nobody knew what he was planning, but it felt like a storm was coming. When the cameras rolled at 7 a.m., the GMA set sparkled with its usual morning show, polished bright lights, upbeat music, and a studio audience ready to clap on cue. Robin, always a professional, beamed as she greeted viewers. Good Morning America, we got a special treat today, she announced, her voice smooth as honey. The legendary Denzel Washington is here to talk about his incredible new film. The crowd roared with applause as Denzel strode out, looking every inch the icon in a sharp suit, his smile radiating quiet confidence. He shook Robin's hand warmly, his charm effortless. Then he turned to Strahan. The handshake was quick, almost cold, but Strahan held on a moment too long, his grip tight. His eyes locked on Denzel's like a hunter eyeing his target. The audience didn't notice, but Robin did. Her smile wavered just for a second. Denzel, welcome back to GMA, Robin said, steering the ship with her usual grace. We're so excited to dive into your new film. But before she could finish, Strahan cut her off, his voice sharp and deliberate. Hold on, Robin, before we get to that, I've got a question for Denzel. The studio went silent. Denzel's smile stayed in place, but his eyes narrowed slightly. Reading the room, you play all these heroic characters, Strahan said, leaning forward, his tone thick with challenge, but you never talk about real issues. Why is that? Is it just easier to hide behind your roles? The attack was sudden, personal, and completely unexpected. The audience shifted uncomfortably. Robin's eyes widened, her professionalism barely holding her shock in check. Michael, that's not, she started, but Strahan barreled over her. No, Robin, let's be real. Someone's got to ask the tough questions. This isn't a puff piece. The air in the studio thickened, the cheerful morning show vibe vanishing like smoke in a fire. Denzel leaned back in his chair, his posture relaxed, but his eyes locked on Strahan like a laser. Good morning to you too, Michael, he said, his voice calm but edged with steel. You want to talk tough questions? All right, let's talk. But let's start with why you're really asking them. Strahan's face twitched, a flicker of unease breaking through his confidence. What's that supposed to mean? He shot back, his voice defensive. Denzel didn't blink. It means I know about your meeting with the network execs yesterday, about your segment's ratings tanking down 40%. This quarter, about you needing a big moment to stay relevant. The studio went dead silent. The audience froze. The crew stopped moving. Even the cameras seemed to pause. Denzel's words weren't just a jab. They were a precision strike. You think picking a fight with me is going to save your job? He continued, his voice steady but sharp. That's your big plan? Strahan's jaw tightened, his eyes flashing with anger. This isn't about ratings, he protested, But his voice lacked strength. Denzel tilted his head, a faint smile on his lips. Everything with you is about ratings, Michael, or money speaking, which he paused, letting the moment hang like a blade. How's that gambling debt treating you? The studio, gasped. Robin's mouth fell open, her eyes darting between Denzel and Strahan. Strahan's face went pale as confident. Mask crumbling like dust. That's private, he stammered, his voice barely audible. Denzel raised an eyebrow. Private. But my political views aren't interesting. Double standard. He turned to Robin, who looked like she was watching a disaster unfold. Robin, did you know Michael owes $37 million to offshore bookies? That's why he's been taking those business trips to the Bahamas. The revelation hit like a lightning bolt. The audience was stunned, some scrambling for their phones to record the chaos. The camera operators, caught off guard, didn't know whether to zoom in on Strahan's pale face or Denzel's steady gaze. Robin tried to regain control. Gentlemen, please, we're live, she said, her voice shaking but professional. But Denzel wasn't done. He stood up, his presence filling the room. You want to question my integrity, Michael? Let's talk about yours, those charity events you host, the ones you splash all over social media. You're pocketing 60% of the proceeds at Foundation for Kids. It's a tax shelter. Your accountant's been talking. Michael, small world, isn't it? Strahan shot to his feet, his voice trembling with rage and panic. That slander, he shouted, but the desperation in his eyes gave him away. Denzel didn't flinch. Slander? I got the receipts. Your accountant's brother works for me. Funny how that works. The audience was beyond shocked now, some openly filming their phones, capturing every second of the meltdown. Security stood frozen, unsure whether to step in during a live broadcast. This wasn't just a TV interview gone wrong, it was a public reckoning. You set me up, Strahan accused, his voice breaking. Denzel shook his head, his calm a stark contrast to Strahan's collapse. No, Michael, you set yourself up. When you decided to ambush me for clicks, I just came prepared. Then he dropped the next bomb. You want to know why George Stephanopoulos isn't here today? He refused to be part of your little plan to attack me. Denzel turned to Robin, whose face was a mask of shock and betrayal. Did you know, Robin, he asked. She shook her head, her eyes locked on Strahan. Michael, is this true? She asked, her voice barely hiding her disgust. Strahan couldn't answer. His hands fumbled at his desk, where a stack of blue index cards sat in plain sight. Denzel nodded toward them. Show them the cards, Michael. The ones you're hiding, the ones with all your attack questions. The cameras zoomed in, catching glimpses of handwritten notes, prepared hostile questions meant to tear Denzel down. The audience gasped again. Betrayal now undeniable. Strahan's hands froze, his face a pictured defeat. This was supposed to be about my film, Denzel said, turning to the camera, his voice steady but burning with righteous anger. Instead, it's about Michael's desperation to go viral. Well, congratulations, Michael, you're about to go viral. Just not the way you planned. Strahan slumped his chair, his voice breaking. You're destroying my career, he said, almost pleading. Denzel's response was ice cold. No, Michael, you destroyed your career with greed and dishonesty. I'm just pulling back the curtain. Then came the final crushing blow. Denzel leaned in, his voice low but piercing. You want to know the real reason Kelly Ripa left Live? She found out about your gambling, your debts, and the money you've been siphoning from the show's charity fund. The accusation was explosive. Robin stood up, backing away from Strahan. As if he were dangerous you stole from charity, she asked, her voice thick with horror. Strahan's response was weak, barely audible. I borrowed it. I was going to pay it back. Denzel didn't let up. Pay it back with what? Michael, you're broke. Your houses are mortgaged 3 times over, your cars, at least even your Super Bowl rings, are in a pawn shop. The destruction was complete. Strahan's legacy, his NFL glory, his TV stardom, his carefully built image lay in ruins. The audience was silent, awaiting the moment sinking in. Denzel turned to Robin, his voice softening. I'm sorry you got caught in this, Robin. You deserve better than being tied to this mess. Then he delivered his final, don't forget to hit the notification bell to stay updated. Subscribe for more powerful video.